The advantage of taking a class like this in a group setting rather than in your own shop building on your own is that in just a couple days, it's going to be a 2-day class, in a couple days when we leave tomorrow, you're going to have a great idea of what stiffness and looseness is. I've asked all of the students to bring in 3 or 4 tops from different species of wood if you want, or all the same species, doesn't matter. And what I've had the students do is install a rosette if they think that they're going to use this on a guitar one day. I've had them join the tops and thickness them to about 3.5 millimeters. And the reason for that is so we're all kind of on the same page and also to save time. What we're going to do throughout the next few hours is I'm going to teach you how I evaluate my soundboard material, how I choose a soundboard material. I've got a stack of lumber here that I'll use for examples. Then I'm going to ask you guys, from what I've just taught you, to examine your own soundboard material and choose one to work with in the class. Okay? We'll then thickness that top to the optimum specs for that particular top, because they're all different. Okay? We'll then make braces, and we'll brace that. Hopefully we'll get that far today. Tomorrow we'll come in and start shaving those braces and do what people call voicing. Now on a steel string guitar, do we have a lot of tension or a little bit of tension on them? We have a lot of tension. So what would you expect the total response to be in a steel string guitar?
Technically it's going to be higher.
It's going to be a higher pitch. It's going to be a trebly instrument. So what is our challenge as a builder? Getting a bass response to match that treble response. Now, classical guitar is complete opposite. All right, so as you can tell, by hand planing or scraping, there's characteristics and qualities of the wood that will come out and talk to you that if you just put through your sander, you'll never know. And to give a good example of that, listen to this. I'm going to hold it off the node, and I'm going to impede the vibrations. Listen to this. Notice any difference? So I'm holding it in a dead area. I'm not impeding those sound waves from traveling and ringing to their full potential. To the optimum thickness for your particular top. Does everybody remember their measurement? Where'd you end up at?
2.7.
2.6. 2.6. 3. 2.5. 7. See the difference?
Yeah.
Speaking of sound holes, how big? Does it make a difference? Now, the position of the X-brace. X-brace forward, X-brace back, height of the braces, width of the braces, all of that makes a difference on what the guitar is going to sound like. Does radius make a difference? Mm-hmm. You better believe it. Why don't we go 15-foot radius on the top? Everything below the sound hole has been radiused and glued on. Everything above the sound hole, we turn the radius dish over, and we glued up the upper transverse brace and the tongue depressor. Now, bridge placement is very important. Where you place that bridge, you want your bridge pins to be right down the middle of the patch. Why is that? All right, folks, today I've given you a lot of information. We've gotten to the point where most of us have all of our braces on the top. So when we come back tomorrow, we're going to shape those voices, get that tap tone, and get the responsiveness that we want out of that top. We were just talking about, shaving the braces and tapping. It gets better and better and better. How do you know where you can't get any more out of there and you've reached the point of structural integrity? Okay, so everybody just take a couple seconds, put it up to your ear, pass the tops around too. Take advantage of that. Listen to what your neighbors got. All right, just like volleyball, rotate. Everything's starting to become more musical. From here on out, anything you take off of that top will make a difference. You'll start to hear it just from a few chisel strokes. You'll start to hear a difference, especially the closer we get to being done. All right, so our next step is we come in and start working on the finger braces. What's the purpose of the finger braces? Why do we even put those in there at all? And this is a mistake that beginners make, is they'll think, okay, if I turn that finger brace or this X brace or tone bar, if I turn it 2 degrees this way, I'm going to get more bass or more treble. Or it doesn't work that way. Next thing I want to do then is start shaping these finger braces. So let me show you how to do that. Up here at this end, what I'm going to do is relieve it back where it hits the X brace. Why am I going to do that? You can hear the difference. You guys hearing what's happening? Starting to loosen up?
Still pretty tight. Yeah. I can tell the difference.
I can tell the difference.
All right. The next step is simple. I want to give you guys a little breather here. The next step is very simple. Remember the FedEx shipping insurance patches? Mm-hmm. Okay. Believe it or not, those affect tone. What are those there for? Okay, so we've done about everything we can do to this top that has to be done. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. And what we're going to work on is what Kent Everett likes to call the beachfront property, the prime real estate. This is where it's happening. Now things are going to happen very fast. This is very important structurally as well. So you got to be careful not to go past the point of structural integrity. So let's pretend that this is the beach. This is the mountain peak. This is the top of the mountain. That's our goal. So we're going to start down here. We're going to come up, hit the plateau, go down into the valley, and then come up to the peak. So we're gradually stepping up as we come up the X-brace. So, how low do you go? I like to keep my tone bars back away from the edge. The only thing going through to the edge is the X-brace and the upper transverse. So here we go. Just a generic measurement here. I never go lower than 1/8 of an inch right here. If you have hit 1/8 of an inch right here, and it's not happening, then it's not happening. And you can always sand it down to 0, and that's preferable to stabbing your top. Now, I know some of you guys like stabbing your tops, but you want to try not to do that. The technical term for that is bad. Decoupling, remember that term? We're going to decouple that a little bit. So I'm going to come in and just take a little bit off of there, and you'll be amazed at just what that little cut right there will do to loosen up your top. Things are really going to start loosening up in a hurry now. Can you guys hear that? Now remember that hand gesture? I want to hear this. Slight decay, then that secondary overtone series, and that extra little oomph, that rebound. Here's what I'm hearing now. We started out at the beginning of the day hearing this. Just crapping out at our knees. Now we're hearing a little bit more of this. I want to get that. So everybody take a few minutes to start working on the tone bars and shaping them. See, I've removed about half of that brace. If I need to do any fine tuning at this point, it's going to be done here, 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 and here. Can you guys hear the difference? Mm-hmm. Pass it around here in just a few minutes. I want you guys to listen to it up close. Yeah, this is starting to sound good. So you can tell that you've got more to take off of yours if you compare it to this one. All right, so take a little bit more off of there. In the X-brace area, right? Yep. Things happen real quick on that X-brace, guys. A few passes, tap, listen. You can hear things happen very quickly. Now, this whole weekend we've been talking about the soundboard. We have not once mentioned the back. Now, there's two schools of thought about the back of a guitar. One is reflective, one is responsive. Everything I've taught you in this weekend is my experience. You guys need to go out and find your own experience. This is a good starting point for you.